Hi, it's Vic. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm part of the La La Land Crafts 24 Days of Christmas tutorial. So we're on day 14. I'm showing you how I made this card today. So the products I've used, I've got the Silent Night stamp set and the Cozy Christmas stamp set. And then I'm also going to be using some dies. I have the Stump with Twig die, Trees die, Houses die, and the Snowbanks die. So I have my card base ready. I've also got an extra 2 pieces of white card. One's my panel, which is going to be going over the top of my card base, and then the other piece I've used that Snowbanks die just to cut a hill. And now I've gone ahead and I've die cut all the dies, and I've just used a Copic marker to add a little bit of green to that tree stump die. And then I'm using PVA glue, and I've just got some yellow card that I'm popping underneath the houses die, so it looks like that there's lights on. And then I'm adding the snow top roof, and then I went ahead and I've also cut out that trees die, again just using some white card. And then I'm going to pop all my dies to the side in a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and work on my background. So I have that card panel, and I've got some distress ink. This is the weathered wood, and I have a blender brush, so I'm just going to apply some of this distress ink to the top of the card. I'm not doing it at the bottom because I have that Snowbanks die that will be covering it up anyway. So I'm just going ahead and I'm applying a couple of layers of the weathered wood distress ink. Again, if you have any type of ink at home, a pigment ink or your oxides, you use whichever ink you'd like. So once my sky is all blended and ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and pop this onto my card. So I'm just securing this down with some double-sided tape. So I'm just applying that onto my card base, and then I'm going to pop the piece that we've just applied the ink to on top. So now I'm going to start building some of my scene. I have that trees die, just going to flip this over. I'm applying some PVA glue to the back of this, and then I'm going to go ahead and pop this onto my card. And then to secure this down, I have a big stamp block which is quite heavy. This is just going to flatten it and make sure that it sticks there nicely. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my stamped images. I have some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm just applying this to the stamp, and then I'm just pressing down using my acrylic block, and I also have some Copic friendly card. I'm going to be using my Copic markers to colour the images today. And then on the screen you will see the Copic colours that I've used for each image. So these markers here are for the bear, and I've done the same for the beaver and also the mouse, but I will leave everything listed down below in the description box if you want to use the same colours as me. And the white gel pen that I'm using is a jelly roll pen, and I use this to add highlights to my images once they've been coloured with COPICS. So if you're new to colouring and wondering how you can achieve the little white highlights, it's a white jelly roll pen. So I definitely advise to have one of them in your colouring stash. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors, and I'm just going to trim out my 3 images, and then I'm going to be working on my scene that I want for my card. So I've removed that block, them trees are nice and flat and secured down. So again, I'm just using PVA glue to adhere my dies. So I've used that Snowbanks die, and I've been bringing that up to my card just to make sure that the houses are not too hidden. And then I've also got that tree stump die, which I thought would look quite cute in between the houses. So I've just placed that there. It looks strange at the minute, but once I bring in that Snowbanks die, it will all come together. So now I'm just popping on the last house, again using the PVA glue, and I'm removing that Snowbanks die because I'm going to be stamping my sentiment on here. I'm going to be doing some heat embossing, so I'm just preparing my cardstock. I've got some Versamark ink, and I also have some gold embossing powder. So I've applied the ink to that stamp. This acts like a glue for your embossing powder. Sprinkled my embossing powder over the top, and now I'm just going to heat set this with my heat gun, and this gives your cards a really pretty finished look. Next, I'm going to be popping this up on my card. So I have some 3D foam pads, just applying that to the back of the Snowbanks die, and then I'm going to pop this onto my card base. And then to finish off my card, I'm just going to go ahead and add my little critters. I think they look super sweet on the cards, and I love using my dies on my cards to create pretty scenes. So again, I'm just using some foam pads, and that finishes up our tutorial today. So I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a fantastic New Year, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know, and I'd also love to have you subscribe.